Welcome everyone to the train room. This is the train layout update vlog. 12/11/2018 I believe is the date. We are 2 weeks away from Christmas. I haven't done any updates on this layout because, well, I had to do a lot of work on it. Changed my mind, got unmotivated for a while trying to figure out what I wanted to do, things like that. But I'm motivated, I'm doing stuff, so here's what I've got so far. So I don't recall if on the last video I mentioned that I put a couple fluorescent lights in this room to get some candle power going. They're two different lights. Yes, I know. This one I already had. I used to keep this. I had 3 of these in my shed and the generator blew them out except this one. So I brought it in here and then I bought a second one. That guy right there, and yeah, so that's how that all ended up going, and then I did that little fun little mess all the way down the wall there. So I tore everything out of here that I had in here from the last video, and I painted the walls, as you can see, this light blue. This is a $5 can of blue that I found at Menards, and then I put everything, redid everything, put it all back in here. The bench work is actually pre-made sides for shelf support, and there's one right there that I haven't used yet. Menards had these for like $9 a piece, and I thought, well, you know, that's pretty much exactly what I would already build for a framework under the foam. And it's already made for me. Now, one of the problems I have had in all of this is finding enough straight wood. Wood that wasn't cocked, kinked, twisted into a pretzel, bent into a chip form, something like that. Twisted. It's been really hard. And there's been a few pieces of wood I bought that were straight. Well, I thought they were straight and they turned out not to be. Anyway, these are manufactured and they're already mostly, they're basically straight, although I did find a little bit of an issue with one of them, but for the most part they're pretty good. And like I said, they're only $9. They have 2 different sizes. This is a 27 or 28 inches wide, one of those two, I can't remember which now. 27 or 28 inches wide, and I've got that up here, and then they've got these smaller ones that I have right there that are, I think, 15, I think is what I measured them at, something like that. And I think they're about $7 a piece, but it's exactly the same thing, and they're made so that you can, you're supposed to vertically mount them and then put shelves in between, but they work pretty good, I thought, for layout. Now, one of the things I wanted to do was not have legs anywhere around here, or at least avoid as many as I possibly could. This area was unavoidable. I've got one right here and one right there, but they're not going to be in the way, so it's not a big deal. It's because of the window and the way things lined up. I just didn't have any way to support it off the wall. Support is done from the wall with those shelf brackets right there. You can see one and another one right in the studs. And then on this particular piece right here, I've got a 1x4 right here helping to span the load all the way across here, because this was a little bit bouncy without that support, but that's really helped quite a bit. I'm still using that particle board, which once this stuff was screwed down, made it very, very rigid, or more rigid than it was without that being there. The other thing I did was I turned the door around so that it opens into the hallway instead of into the room, and that allows me to actually utilize this dead corner over here that I had, and that's what this pop-out piece right here I built is for. No magnets here, just good old-fashioned wood. What I'm using to center these, I've got 2 of them, are just these little dowel pins right here for shelving. Got two on this side, and then I've got one over here. It's probably a little bit overkill, but once the shelf drops down into there, it doesn't go side to side in any direction. So that'll keep the track from shifting position slightly and making it difficult to line back up. It'll go back in exactly the way it came out, and vice versa. So this is the thinner side. Like I said, this was about a 15-inch support, or shelf end support. I've extended this out to, it's not quite 2 feet, but it's probably about 20 inches right here across. And for whatever reason, I'll mention this right now, for whatever reason in the process of my doing this all the way around here, somehow I ended up getting off in height right here. So it's actually like about that thickness, which is 1/4 inch particle board. Maybe this is, I think this is 3/8 particle board. But basically got to be about that thickness difference in height in between from this one to this one. So that's what this is for. This pop out piece is perfectly parallel and level based off of this one all the way across here. And so I just added these little incline starters to get me up, and it actually worked out exactly right. Although the funny thing is that a couple of these incline starters are actually kind of thinner than the others. This one is thinner, and it seemed like there's another. This one might be right here. I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird that Woodland Sinks had some different thicknesses in that box, but regardless, nevertheless, I got that taken care of. I'm using the Atlas Code 65 True Track, which is not easy to find as far as finding it in an affordable price. I don't know if it's really affordable even at $10 a pack, $12 a pack, but it seems like a lot of places that have it don't have a lot of it in stock, so I got to order stuff from multiple places. I've been ordering stuff the past year or so. I got rid of the 2-level thing. I just wasn't feeling the Helix thing. I got rid of the 2-level thing, and I got rid of that whole peninsula island thing I had going on right here because it was just taking up too much space. I just didn't like the amount of space it took up. So I got this riser going right here that I just kind of pinned in for right now. And I think I've got about as much height as I really want to go on it right here. This entire layout is basically a figure 8, but the figure 8 crosses right here. So I'm trying to do a double main line down this all the way around. It's going to come around and it's going to go under here and back around. So this will be the inner track on this side, that'll be the outer track back there is what I'm thinking of doing. It'll be kind of hidden back there as well. But it's basically a figure 8, just it's not in the traditional figure 8 style. I actually got that idea off of a plan I saw in the Model Railroad magazine. They had a plan, it was HO scale, they had a plan similar that crossed very similarly to this, and it was actually a Wyoming division they were doing, but I'm not doing the hidden staging that they had, but although I was kind of thinking about I might be able to hide some stuff back in here, but for the most part if I leave the risers in this position I'm probably going to just glue foam up to this, elevate it, create kind of a higher level of scenery back here, a hill or something like that. Maybe a highway, I'm not really sure. Or I may just pull that back closer to the wall, I don't know yet. speaking of those pins, these right here, these T-pins. This is what Woodland Scenics passes off as foam pins. These are $2.64 at Walmart for a pack of 40 of them. Not $10 that Woodland Scenics tries to get you for. So I've got a bunch of switches that I've been collecting too. And one of the things I didn't want to have to mess with switch motors. So I wanted to just use these automatic switches. And I've got quite a few I've acquired. I've got more than this. There's another one right there too. And another one right there. And one right there. And one right there. But I got to figure out exactly where I want to put them all. So there you go. I'm kind of moving into this area over here. And we're coming down. I really didn't want to have the risers going across the second removable pop-out piece, but I don't think it'll be a big issue. Hopefully I'll be able to take care of that. Still got basically a lot of this is basically the same layout as it was before, even in HO scale. I was messing with that riser last night, and I was thinking, this is kind of like what I had before. Still got the Steam Shop here. I am thinking about reprinting this because it is a little bit too large. I put my big boy up against this, and it could probably shrink down about 4 inches. Yes, that's actually about 4 inches because I measured it. Going from about here up to about here is where the big boy ends up, and this might be. I think I could prototypically probably could shrink it up about 2 inches, but I just wanted this thing to basically house the big boy. I wasn't really looking for it being overly big. So anyway, I may end up reprinting this. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards, and I'm going to print it in ABS instead of this. I can't even remember what this was called now. PLA? Not PLA. It wasn't PLA. PET G is what it was, because it's kind of flexible. I don't know that I really like that. But like I said, it's a little bit too big. But it's a nice building. I still think it turned out pretty good. I would probably shrink these window dividers down a little bit there, frames there. Maybe print those a little bit thinner. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm not even sure I'm going to use it on the layout now. And that's another reason why I kind of wanted to shrink it down, was because so it maybe fit a little bit better on the space I have going here. So once I get the riser thing figured out over here, I'll turn my attention to this half of the layout, and I really don't know for sure what I'm going to do with this area, but I'm just going to kind of let the layout figure itself out as I go along. I've got a lot of buildings to put in here, such as these Walthers kits I've got in the boxes down here. I've got that nice co-op elevator. I've actually got another green elevator too. I think it might be for concrete actually. I need to build those, and I've got some other. I've got a couple depot kits, wood laser cut kits, and I got a Dairy Queen kit, and I got a couple other things I don't remember now. But anyway, I've got a lot of buildings to build, and I've also got some DPM downtown kits as well. Speaking of downtown kit, I've got a whole Walthers downtown thing too that I bought, so that'll be good. One of the things I got pre-built off of eBay was this Oto's. I'll have to touch it up a little bit, but I think it looks pretty good the way it is. I kind of like the worn lettering right there. Even though I did buy some more track a couple months ago on my order from MB Klein, I do think I'm going to need a lot more. Especially if I do a double mainline all the way around here. But I did buy this Micro Engineering and Atlas 55 track, and so I can incorporate this into the Code 65. It's only about a edge of a fingernail's catch difference between the two rails. That can be filed down, sanded down easily. So that's an option. I was actually planning on using these for sightings and stuff like that, but sightings and then going over to the different certain different buildings or whatnot to serve those industries and maybe yard track, which is what I originally bought it for. Actually, it was a yard track. I've got a bunch of Code 55 curve too, but so I could fall back on this if I need to, and I may do that. I just don't know yet. One of the things I liked about N-Scale was these Microtrans pre-weathered, pre-graffitied cars, and I like the fact that these are made in the USA and artistically painted in the USA by people sitting there that are talented in doing that kind of thing. Got a few weathered and graffitied cars. It's something I do like about N-Scale. Of course, you can never go wrong with hoppers. Another Atlas purchase. I like the Atlas stuff for N-Scale. I think it's really, really nice for the scale. They do a really nice job, and they're usually fairly cheap too by comparison of some of the other places like Scale Trains. My God, $32 for N-Scale. Really, Scale Trains? I mean, I understand that for HO maybe, but N-Scale. Think you're going to do N-Scale and save some money? Think again. N-Scale seems to actually cost more money than HO nowadays. And these things actually work really well. It's definitely a good investment. Some of the things I got at that train show, Rocky Mountain Train Show, the guy had some pretty good deals. These are again Microtrans cars, these tank cars. They're older, but that's alright. Still nice. One of my caveats for buying older stuff is it's got to have Microtrans couplers on it already. This does not, but it was $25. Nice little switcher to have on there, and then he had two of these. I bought one of them. This is actually an Atlas GP40 locomotive. He was selling this for $16. I don't know if he realized that was an Atlas. Maybe he thought it was a Bachmann or something. I don't know, but that's a good price for an Atlas locomotive. That's a good price, $16. I didn't even haggle with him. I was like, yeah, that's I'm happy with that. I guess that's probably why I didn't haggle over these either, because they were already a good price. Manager special right there. Look at that. But yeah, that's I guess I'll conclude this update for right now. I don't know when they'll do the next one. I don't know if it'll be before Christmas or not. But if I have something meaningful to update with, I'll definitely do that. So thank you very much for watching, everyone, and we'll see you again here. Peace out, everybody.